He's a perfect diplomat. Balance of opposites. Kapisha, Vayu Putra, Sankata Mochana, Mahavira, not just known for his strength, but he's known for his brain power, his wisdom. When you live by the first three names, Hanuman, Anjanasunu, Vayu Putra, you become automatically a Mahabala. Why Hanumanji is the perfect archetype or model? This is Valmiki's own creation in Ramayana. We even said that it could very well be his own life story. That we have several instances of mixture of human and animal archetypes, notable being Narasimha, Ganesha, and Hanumanji. Why Hanuman's day has been dedicated or designated as Tuesday and Saturday? Most people are unconsciously adopting the Duryodhana archetype. I will say the mantra again and I will explain. It is Vayu Putra talks about our Pranamaya Kosha. There are 5 pranas inside us. To get to these 4 goals, Vedanta has prescribed yoga. There are 3 types of yoga that our entire Vedanta talks about. Astrologically, what Mars stands for. Mars is a cruel planet. Cruelty. Mars represents our karma action. The minute you are born on earth, you have to engage in karma. Because in the beginning I said, we are the only one who can solve our problems. Nobody can solve it for us. And we will understand when we do Sankat Mochana Ashtakam, Mahavir he's called. Courage. Veera is a warrior who has courage. It's not that people are born with courage. It has to be cultivated. To be a spiritual warrior, you need 5 kinds of courage. With the lessening of religious rituals, this modern world, we have completely forgotten that the power of brahmacharya, vrat, austerity, that is to control our instinctual animal nature. That whole Ramayana, they've said, if you can't say Ram, the simplest word, say Mara, kill, and you will still be connected because it's the opposite of Ram. Mara, 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 Mara. These 2 planets are very peculiar and their astrological alignment in your birth chart is misplaced. You are in for misery, my friends. He is balance of opposites. 2 murtis of Hanumanji you'll see. Either he is that Shakti, flying through the air with that Gada and the mountain, or he is sitting at the feet of Ram. Shakti and Bhakti, this is the 2 things, the 2 major things we have to focus on in these 7 sessions, how to develop Shakti and Bhakti through karma. Okay, so let's go on to today's number 4, verse 4. Let me read it out first and then we'll explain. Ravana trasa daisya ko saba, raksashi so kahi so ka nivaro. ताहि समय हनुमान महाप्रभु जाया महारजनी चरमारो चाहत सिया अशोक सो आगिसु दई प्रभु मुद्रिका शोक निवारो को नहीं जानत है जग में कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो. We have to constantly remind this to Lord Hanuman and to ourselves, that who doesn't know that you can, with you there, everything will be solved. You can solve all our problems. You can deliver us from all problems. The meaning is, when Ravan was torturing Sita by appointing many female demons, and Sita was pleading with them to relieve her from her sorrows, you arrived at that spot at the right moment and destroyed many strong demons. When Sita was asking the Ashoka tree to grant her the fire to destroy her own life, you dropped the ring of Lord Ram and thereby removed all Sita's sorrows from her heart. O Lord Hanuman, who in the world does not know that your name is Sankata Mochana, the deliverer from all sorrows? Now, the Hanumanji, what happens? He crossed the ocean and he goes looking for Sita, and he goes all over the town, and finally he finds her sitting in this Ashoka Vatika under a tree. And we discussed that tree trunk is our spine, and that is the end of the bottom of the spine is the Mooladhara, where we are in scared, insecure, unstable, and scared. We have to rise that entire, bring our awareness and our energy from the Mooladhara all the way to the Sahasrara, where Lord Ram is. And why did this paragraph is trying to tell us another source of our Sita's anguish, pain. Why did Sita suffer? Sita willingly gave up the kingdom's riches and power of Ayodhya, even though Ram and everybody told her, you stay here, you're a princess, you're not supposed to go to the forest. She gave up everything and followed her husband to the forest. But at the sight of a golden deer, she lost it all. That one golden deer took hold of her fancy, and she couldn't get her mind. The more she looked at it, the more she wanted it. And she felt that what harm could come? It's just a golden deer. Although inside she is an extremely erudite, educated woman who knew and should have known that there is no such thing as a golden deer. Ram tried to explain, this is the forest, there are many demons, this is some sort of illusion, mirage, don't get swayed by it. But she was hell-bent. She would not listen, take no for an answer from Ram, sent him away. Then when Ram goes away, of course it was, Ravan had sent one of his friends who could shift to distract. Exactly what as he had planned, it worked out, and Ram went. And that Marich was the name of the demon. He ran far away, and when Sri Ram killed him, he took on the voice of Lakshman and asked for help. Lakshman, come and save me. And when Sita heard that, she started getting scared. She told Lakshman, you have to go, you have to go. Lakshman said, impossible, nothing can happen to Ram. And she was very, very mean, used bad language and bad, ideas came into her mind, and she accused Lakshman, who had never seen her face, because he adored her so much that his eyes were always at her feet level. He never wanted to see her face, lest, because she was so beautiful, lest he gets any kind of attraction towards her. And she accused him, saying, you want to marry me, that's why you're not going to rescue Ram. And he couldn't hear it. He said that nothing can happen to Ram. Only the day before he killed 1500 demons, he is the Lord himself. She did not listen, said nasty things to him. So he says, okay, because of his brahmacharya, because for so many years, 12, 13 years, he had not, he had practiced brahmacharya. He drew 3 circles around that hut and said, do not cross these lines. If you cross these lines, you will get into trouble. 3 lines, one for physical boundaries, emotional boundaries, mental boundaries. And he went away. And immediately Ravan comes dressed as a sage, as a saint, begging for alms. And Sita knew that she cannot go. And there was an instinct inside her, intuition telling her this is trouble. But he started saying that I'm going to curse your family and you're a princess. And her ego got the better of her. Her fear got the better of her. And she stepped out of those protective boundary lines. And of course, immediately Ravan's disguise dropped. He turned into the demon that he is. He grabbed her and took her away. So what this thing is telling us is that our a fourth source of sorrow is our identification with desires and lust, that the brooding over sense organs that lead to delusion. The more, and this idea is taken from Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, where they give you beautifully to explain the ladder of fall, how human beings who have worked so hard to raise their awareness, consciousness, to operate from a high level of awareness, how they fall. And that ladder of fall, one thing leads to another, and it's called the ladder of fall. It says that the more we look at something, our attention is focused on it, what happens? A desire arises in us. And when the desire arises in us, it leads to desire. We want to possess it, and anything that comes between us or stops us or prevents us from possessing that, we start getting angry. And when we get angry, what happens? We get delusional. And when we get delusional, we lose our memory. And when we lose our memory, we lose our ability to discriminate between right and wrong. And the minute you lose your ability to discriminate between right and wrong, you perish. So in this situation, what happened? Sita was fine. She gave up what not. She gave up the kingdom and jewelry and clothes and power, and with a small golden deer. And she knew she knows that it's not right, and she kept on staring at it, staring at it, staring at it, and suddenly a desire started developing towards it. And then no matter how much Ram told her, she got mildly irritated with Ram and convinced him to go, and she sent Ram away, her higher self. Then that led to when Lakshmana, then she wanted Lakshmana to go and save Ram, even though that was not necessary. And when Lakshmana said, no, it is not necessary, this is all a mirage, what happened? Anger arose, because he came between her and that deer and her husband. So she started getting angry. When she got angry, she got delusional. Lakshman tried so hard to explain to her, have you forgotten who you've married to? He who broke Shiva's bow, he who killed only 2 days ago, he killed 1400 demons single-handedly. But she delusional, and delusion leads to what? Leads to loss of memory. She forgot all of that, and she even forgot about Lakshmana's behavior, how chaste he is and how he has served Ram and her, and started using bad language and giving bad reasons for his hesitancy to go. Then what happens? This delusion leads to loss of memory. She forgot everything. She forgot Ram's capability. She forgot Lakshmana's chastity, and it led to the loss of viveka, loss of discrimination. She could not tell that if I said, what I'm doing to Lakshman is terrible, horrible language I'm using, and I'm forgetting all that he has done for me. He hasn't even seen my face. He only looks at my feet. She forgot all that, lost her capacity, and started saying bad things to him, such bad things that he could not hear. And he draws the line and goes away. Then when the minute you send away, don't listen to your higher self, don't listen to your awareness, which is telling you draw boundaries, draw boundaries. We know when Ravan came, she knew this was trouble. And we also know when we get into bad relationships, when we are about to do bad things, we know there's a niggling doubt inside, but we don't want to listen to it. Our ego comes, our fear, because we have sent away everybody, the higher self, the awareness, we've sent away everybody. We don't want to listen to anybody, and we cross our limits. We cross the minute. And who is Ravana, the 10-headed? It's this vasana, strong delusional vasanas that have such power over us. And she crossed it. The minute we come in contact with these desires, whatever they may be, immediately their true self reveals it to us. But we have long crossed that boundary that our awareness had drawn. So this tells you that the fourth cause is that our attachment to sense organs. And the golden deer had no power over her if she did not continue to look at it and think about it and think about it. Similarly, if you want to drink something, and if you have an alcohol addiction, if you think about it, it will transform or into a strong desire and an attachment for that thing, and that attachment will lead to a desire to drink. And once that desire comes, anybody who stops you from drinking, you're going to get mad and angry. And when you get angry, you get delusional. You know how bad alcohol is, but you will not remember anything. You will lose your memory. Once you lose your memory, your ability to discriminate right and wrong goes, and you will perish. That's what it's saying. So sense objects in and of itself don't have control over us. What control we need to have is not to focus on it. So because the same alcohol, the same golden deer, Lakshman saw, Ram saw, nothing happened. Same alcohol, I can see, you can see, but somebody who is an alcoholic will have a problem. Same dessert, you and I can pass by, but somebody else who has a sweet tooth won't. So the objects in and of themselves don't have. But if you know that you have a weakness for that, you have to do what Ram did to kill Bali. You have to hide from it. Hide from it. Don't come in presence of those things that have such control over you. So once Sita goes, she reaches there, she realized her trouble, but she had the sense, because she had developed, she's a very developed soul, to create a firewall around her by chanting Lord's name. Ram, 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 Ram. She did not eat, did not think. She knew she had made a terrible mistake. And the only way when you fall from that ladder of fall from being with Ram, your higher self, to finding yourself in a trapped in a demon's, what should I say, land that is nobody can find, only way out is reconnecting with your higher self. And you can do that through this kind of chanting, or whoever you know is going to get you out of there, thinking of them and trying to reconnect with them. And when Ravan came to, persuade her, she did not listen. She cursed him. She said, "You get away from here. I have made one mistake. I will never look at you again." Ravan had a curse that he could not forcibly take a woman against her will. And there is a deeper significance to that, because Ravan is delusion, is vasanas, is the sense object, the lust that is and in the sense of objects. They don't have any control over us per se. We have to give them permission to have that power over us. So that's why Ravan cannot take Sita by himself, unless first time Sita gave permissions. She came out and engaged with him. But this time she said, "Nothing doing. I will not look at you. I will not touch you. I will not listen to you. Zero, zilch, zip." So that's the only way. Once you realize you've made a mistake, you know that that thing has no power over you in and of itself. So he cannot do that to any woman, because woman is prakriti, our matter, our nature. We can take back our control anytime. That same woman who was helpless and got kidnapped, here Ravan cannot touch her. Why? Because she decided that he will have no control over me. So that is our false identity and ego. When they come to tempt us, when bad things and bad habits, they look like a sadhu, like a saint, like, oh, this last house or last affair or last money that I'm embezzling from somewhere, last time, it thinks it looks good. Nothing will happen. The minute you do it, the true nature of that act or that person reveals itself. So that's what it says, that until Sita engaged with, came out and went there, you don't know. It looks like, how bad can it be? How bad can it be? And we start telling ourselves story. I am the princess. I cannot give alms. But you are not a princess here. You are out of your depth here. So knowing where your depth is and drawing boundaries, that I cannot do this, is very important. And Hanumanji came as a guru, because he is reuniting your higher self with the lower self. The breath and mind is the guru. And how did he reunite? When somebody is detached and fallen down, when somebody is suffering, is in the depth of suffering, you don't start going and hammering them. I told you so, this is terrible, horrible. He gave the ring of Ram. What is the ring of Ram? And he carried that ring in his mouth, as if he didn't have hands and pockets and clothes to put it. What they're trying to say is, these words of hope have to come out of your mouth. You speak to them, and he took a sukshma rupa, very tiny avatara, tiny form he took, and he sang beautifully bhajan. This guy who is prachanda, I mean, he has just crossed the ocean, for crying out loud, took a tiny form and started singing a bhajan to get her, when somebody is fallen down, to get her hope up, to give them hope. You don't badger them. You just tell them gently and let it sink in. She was afraid. She didn't want to listen to him at first. She wasn't sure who to trust, who not to trust. But he didn't force his idea. And the minute he dropped the ring of Lord Ram, meaning giving hope that your higher self is coming, will reunite with you. And through gentleness, you don't force feed somebody, they've fallen down. This stick and carrot, you use the carrot at that point, not the stick. So you give them advice very gently, bring hope back. After hope comes, then you can do many other things. So that is which verse is it? Fourth one. Now the fourth. So brooding over sense objects leads to delusion, and then there's the ladder of fall. Thinking about something consistently creates an attachment, and that leads to desire. Desire leads to anger. When the desire is not fulfilled, it leads to anger. When anger happens, you become delusional. You forget everything. Loss of memory. Loss of memory leads to lack of discrimination. Loss of discrimination, and that leads to perishing. But you can create a firewall, and when the guru comes, when a mentor comes to help you, you have to trust them and work with them. And the mentor also has to, if you are the mentor, you happen to find yourself as a mentor, do it gently. Then the fifth verse, Bana lagyo ura lachimana ke tava prana taje sutta ravana maro lai gruha vaidya sushena sameta तबै गिरि द्रोण सुबीर उपार आनि सजीवन हाथ दई तब लक्ष्मण के तुम प्राण उबारो को नहीं जानत है जग में कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो. When Lakshman's heart was pierced by the arrow of Ravan's son and he became unconscious, you brought the healer Sushena along with his house, and you also brought the whole mountain with the medicinal plants, thus saving the life of Lakshmana, the brother of Sri Ram. O Lord Hanuman, who in the world does not know that your name is Sankat Mochan, the deliverer from all sorrows? So, the fifth, the fourth one was brooding over sense objects. The fifth verse talks about how Hanumanji saves Lakshman's life. And this, the fifth cause of uh, uh, our suffering is lack of adequate dispassion. Now, Lakshmana stands for our intellect, which is, intellect is not the same as emotion, not heart. The intellect is like the Shiva energy. It's clarity. And so what happens is your intellect is sharp when you practice viveka and vairagya. Viveka is knowing what is right and wrong, good and bad, and vairagya is creating a little bit of detachment. But that detachment and viveka can become weak if there is doubt in your mind. So when who should not kill, who should hurt Lakshman? Ravana's son. Ravana is delusion, ego, your delusionary ego, and his son will be lust. And lust is something which is like a deep entrenched, deep rooted vasana, deep rooted what should I say, deep rooted impression inside us that is very difficult to fight. And any time that where Ravana's son, his name was Meghnath, but he got the name Indrajit because Indra, the king of the gods, he got his name because he lorded over, he conquered Indriyas. Indriyas are our sense organs. So when we get control over our Indriyas, we are called Indra. So the sense organs are here, Indra is right there, lord over the sense organs, and Indrajit conquers him and brings him down. So that lust can temporarily make your control, your viveka, your vairagya, send it into a coma. Because that is why it's called Indrajit. Even though most of the time we can control our senses, but there are certain things over which we have no control. So we have to be very clear, very alert. The minute our vigilance goes, then it is very difficult to fight. You will fall prey to this. And that is why Lakshmana, the dispassion, was not as strong as Hanuman. Both Lakshmana was a brahmacharya, so was Hanuman. What was the difference between Hanuman and Lakshmana? Hanuman was always calm and composed, and Lakshmana was a hot-headed fellow. And at the drop of a hat, his anger got the better of him. And in this ladder of fall, we know that once you get angry, the next step has to happen. You will you'll become delusional. And when you become delusional, you will lose memory. When you lose memory, you'll perish. Hanumanji never got angry, never. That is a quality part of because brahmacharya is not just about controlling your food and sex and sleep. It's controlling your mind also. Lakshmana did not have that. Lakshmana was a very hot-headed person, and that is why lust could penetrate him. Meghnath is a cloud, the lord of the clouds. Clouds, like we talked about the smoke, it can make things illusory. You don't know exactly where it is coming from. And if you get angry, or if you get scared, or if you are not vigilant even for a minute, it can get you. And in a different perspective, I want to talk about lust. We think lust as always related to a sexual thing. No, lust is the opposite of love. Lust is when you have a life purpose, and it's not just the life purpose. You want to do something, anything that you're focused, that Phalguna Sakha Arjuna, the minute you get distracted, this is lust coming in. So it can be in your marital life, it can be in your studies, it can be in your diet, when you have set a goal and you're focused on it, the minute your focus moves away, lust has entered. So lust is that which takes you away from your goal. It need not necessarily always be related to passion and love and sex. Anything that distracts you from your goal is lust. And anger is a very, we think that we can do all, what should I say, we can control ourselves, but unless you control anger, which Lakshmana had not controlled, we will fall prey to people like Indrajit, these very subtle, what should I say, vasanas. So, and Hanumanji again comes as a guru, because he went he got the Vaidya, the doctor from Lanka, who was Sushena, and that doctor said that you have to bring the herb which is in Himalayas. Now, the Himalaya means any kind of mountain means wisdom. All the great ascended masters have always gone to the mountain to get a spiritual knowledge. And Himalayas for the Vedic rishis those days meant the Vedic information. So Hanumanji flew all the way to the Himalayas and got that Sanjivani. In the Vedas, there are two elixirs. One is Sanjivani and one is Amrita, what is it called? Amrita, immortality. So Sanjivani revives our lower self, our body and mind. Amrita gets us that immortality. The elixir of immortality is a different thing. We'll talk about it some other time. Right here, he has to be present in his body and mind to be able to fight this battle. So that is why Sanjivani was brought, that information that will revive your body and mind. We in present day context, how do we understand that when somebody becomes completely in a coma state, their awareness is not working, you have to get somebody like a guru, not necessarily a spiritual guru, it can be a spiritual guru, but somebody who has very high level knowledge, who can come and revive that viveka to again be resurrected, because it was temporarily overpowered by our vasanas, deep-rooted sense and lust. Sanjivani came, and so any kind of attachment to a higher goal will get us from temporary coma or temporary loss of detachment and viveka and vairagya. Viveka is the discrimination and vairagya is the detachment. When you temporarily find yourself in any particular area not having that discrimination, ability to discriminate, or the detachment, find somebody who will help you get out of that situation. Because if you don't, you will get into a coma and you'll perish. By coma, they mean your mind will not work. Then comes the final verse today we'll talk about. So the suffering, the fifth cause of suffering is lack of adequate dispassion, which includes, dispassion includes, see, people think of dispassion as detachment. Detachment is not a complete definition. Dispassion is the opposite of passion. Detachment meaning giving up everything. We don't have to give up. Dispassion is opposite of passion. Passion is wanting something desperately. With passion comes anger and desire. Dispassion is to remove. You can still eat the food, you can still drink the alcohol, you can still do shopping, you can still go out, but not desperately attached to it. So it's not just giving it up. It is not passionately attached to it. Dispassion. To understand when you get slipping, that your passion, anger, and Lakshmana was known for his anger. Okay. So next one, the last one for today is Ravana Juddha Ajana Kyotava Naga ki Phasa Sabai Siradaro Shri Raghunatha Sameta Sabai Dala Moha Bhayo Yaha Sankata Bharo Ani Khagesa Tabai Hanuman Ju Bandhana Kati Sutrasa Nivaro को नहीं जानता है जगह में कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो. Ravana invited the war due to his ignorance, and being invisible, he spread the spell of Nagaphasa, the mesh of snakes, on everyone. Everyone was hypnotized, including Lord Sri Ram. They did not know how to get out of this danger. At that time, you brought the Lord of the birds, the great eagle. What happened is, ultimately, this comes to the last day of the fight, and they have reached there, and Sri Ram is going to fight, and Ravana has lost his Indrajit is dead. Each of his brothers are dead. Each of his major generals are dead. His biggest power, his son Indrajit, who had conquered the heaven and Indra, he was dead. Now it was down to the last battle between Ravana and Sri Ram. And Vibhishana was very, very afraid, because Ravana had in those days the most fantastical war machine called Pushpak. And his chariot had all kinds of arrows and guns and can you name it, thinkable and unthinkable weapons. And Sri Ram went barefoot on the ground with just a bow and arrow. And Vibhishana was very scared. He said, how will you fight Ravana? Look at him. You're coming here. You have no chariot. You have nothing. You have a bow and arrow, no shoes. And Ravana has everything. But what this thing is trying to tell us is, when you are down to fighting that ego, it gets subtler and subtler, and you cannot take the help of technology or ideas or outside help. You have to. He was barefooted and on the ground. What does that mean? In touch with matter, with yourself. You are grounded. You are in touch with your body, your mind. You alone can help yourself. No war machine, no army, no doctors, no, but they can all give you advice. But ultimately, you cannot lose touch with your earth element. That Mooladhara, we have to rescue Sita from Mooladhara. That is an earth element. So you can't come flying in the chariots and save somebody from the Mooladhara. You have to go to the Mooladhara. You have to go to the base of your spine, to your Mooladhara, be in complete contact and merge with your earth element. And what it says is, when Ravana comes, he uses his ultimate astra weapon. It's called Nagaphasa. It's an arrow which when you let go, it shoots snakes and ties everybody, and everybody gets into a delusory, like a coma, and they all drop, including Lord Rama. What Naga Phasa mean? Phasa is like a knot, like a knot around somebody, constricting, restricting them. And Naga, snake, means doubt. Any time you have a doubt in your mind, and even in Christianity, they talk about that fall from Garden of Eden, because the snake came and caused that fall. So whenever you have doubt in your ability as in your higher self, then this problem will start. And very often when we go to the Mooladhara, that is, we are so low in the dense energy that it is possible to forget who we really are. Even Sri Ram fell for that our higher energy also sometimes can get pulled down when we are operating from the Mooladhara, insecurity and instability. And we have to remember that Ravana was also like his son, could shape shift. You can't see him sometimes, and he's become something else. As we get higher and higher in our spiritual progress, as our awareness and consciousness grows, our challenges become subtler and subtler. They are not lack of food, lack of money, lack of friends, or lack of a good government. The ego in all its ugliness will start attacking us. This doubt, form of doubt. And we don't hurt others. We are do philanthropic work. We do all kinds of things. But what comes in its stead? Very subtle. I am doing it. I am the good person. I know everything right. Everybody else is good. So that is something that you have. That is the Nagaphasa. We start doing good things, but with it comes the feeling that I am doing it. I'm so much better. I know more than you. You don't know as much. I do more charity than you. I help more people than you. I have raised more money than you. I. And this is beautifully explained by the analogy between Buddha and Krishna. Buddha is the path of the intellect, like Shiva's path. So where he starts off saying that I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want money, I don't want name, I don't want fame, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't. At some point you're stuck with I, the very thing that you need to drop. And 1 in a billion, only Buddha is able to drop that I. It's a very difficult path. Whereas Krishna's thing is, when he, you hear about Krishna having 16,000 wives. It's not wives. Wives, it's a twin flame that you become connected with. Krishna's philosophy is, if there is no you, there is no me. So there is no difference between me and you. He connected with everybody as a spouse, meaning you become one, two souls in one body. So that is what we have to understand when we are rising in our spiritual practices. your your basic needs will be met, but that is not the problem. As you rise, the challenges will become subtler and subtler, and ego will present itself in ways and means that you won't know. And the final one is nagabhasa, which is doubt. You are more you have more faith in your limited body and mind than in the higher self. You say, is there really a God? Is this really going to work? So many times, and in Buddha's story we have heard that just before getting enlightenment, what happened to him? Mara attacked him, and she came at him. Mara is another word for Maya, which is illusion. And illusion and doubt and nagabhasa comes down to Swami Tejavananda, I think, had explained. But the question, but the minute anybody tells you something, and you can do this and you can do this, there is hope for you, you do that. But what if it this work? But what, how can you prove it? But that but is the nagabhasa. That means that snake has entered the mind. Then everything goes for a 6. So you cannot afford to have an ounce of doubt in the final stage, whatever it is you're doing. And in there are many movies where they say that in Olympics, that there's a Hindi movie, beautiful movie, it's called Bhag Milka Bhag, where this guy was running an Olympic, and first time an Indian had actually gone to not Olympic, but I think Asian Games or something like that, very high level country match, sports event, and he was doing fantastic. But one doubt entered him, because he had a very traumatic past. He came during the partition of India. He left Pakistan and came to India, and he turned back and saw his father's head being beheaded. So that fear never let him go. And while he was here, he was so close to the finish line, and he just wanted to see where his competitors was. He looked back and he lost the match. Same thing with us. We cannot lose focus of our goal. Like Hanumanji, when he came to rescue Sita, all he could see was himself, the ocean, and Sita. He did not think about anything else. So this is also that nagabhasa is doubt. Can I do it? Has it happened? What will happen if I don't do it? So because every thought has energy, takes energy, and you have, let's say, $100 worth of energy for each thought. If you can either give part of your energy to these negative thoughts or distracting thoughts, or you can leave it to a higher cause and focus, bring all your energy to your goal. But what will happen? In the past it didn't work. What will happen if I don't achieve it? So those thoughts are draining your energy. Instead of that, you take away that nagabhasa. And how does the nagabhasa go? Because everybody was in a coma there except Hanumanji. Narada, who is a devotee of Lord Vishnu, came. Narada is the giver of Nara, that is the highest perfected knowledge. He said, get Garuda, because Garuda is the big bird of Lord Vishnu, who can save these people from this bondage of snakes. And if you think about it, many flags of many countries have eagle and a snake. Why do you think that is? There are deep spiritual significance to it. And Garuda is, in our mythology, in Vedic mythology, can take care of all the snakes. Are very scared of Garuda. Garuda signifies two things. It's a big bird, flying high up there, and has vision to look at everything on the ground, has a bird's eye view, as they say, and he can swoop down very quickly and pick up a snake. So that it signifies our raise our consciousness. And Garuda has two wings. One wing is they say is bhakti, the other is jnana. So for you to get out of that nagabhasa in any aspect of your life, that doubt that has completely enslaved you and put you in a bondage that you cannot think, you have to bring your Garuda in. And the Garuda is your bhakti. You have to believe in a higher power, and your jnana. You must have cultivated that jnana, and this is the time when you invoke that jnana, that higher knowledge and wisdom that can cut through this doubt and this bondage and enslavement to doubt, which is nagabhasa. So the Garuda was brought, and he cut all these snakes and killed them, and Rama, Lakshmana, everybody woke up from that stupor, that comatose stupor. And they killed Ravana. So the sixth cause of cause of our suffering is limitations and doubts created by delusion. And delusion means doubt, not trusting a higher power. That's when in the ultimate, in the smaller things, you have other problems. But here it is doubt. That faith has to be bigger than fear at any given point, because fear will not get you to the other finish line, but faith definitely will. Again, Hanuman, in these three avatars, in these three states, he appeared as the guru. When he came to Sita, he was like a guru. He came and gave the ring of Lord Ram, meaning words of wisdom, of the scriptural wisdom and hope. And Lakshmana, he actually went to Himalayas and brought the Sanjeevani. So what is Himalayas known for the Vedas, for the knowledge. And in this case, he got Garuda. Garuda is the guru, comes and teaches you about jnana and bhakti. So he brought jnana and bhakti. We have to bring jnana and bhakti whenever you feel completely at a loss, your higher self is also not working. That is, you have to invoke bhakti. You just have to keep on saying, like that firewall Sita created, Ram, 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 Ram. And that is what is written in these three. So let us recap it. Fourth verse says that brooding over sense objects leads us to delusion. Sita looked at that golden deer. Anytime, it need not be a golden deer. Golden deer is telling us something which is too good to be true is too good to be true. And if you keep on looking at something, we have that, attachment arises. From attachment comes desire. Desire comes anger when somebody doesn't let you have it. From anger comes delusion. From delusion comes loss of memory. From loss of memory comes loss of discrimination. And when you lose your capacity to discriminate, you perish. So that is the fourth cause of our suffering. Fifth cause of our suffering is lack of adequate dispassion. Lakshmana, his anger, because Lakshmana is a very passionate person. I mean, every story in the Ramayana tells him how immediately at the drop of a hat, he pulls out his sword. That will get you into trouble, because this ladder of fall, the minute you tap into the, you vibrate at the frequency of anger, you've lost it. That game is lost. And because your senses will be overcome by lust. And lust is what? Anything that distracts you from your goal. Your goal could be having passing the exam, goal can getting the job, goal can be getting married, goal can be whatever. But if you have anger, you get distracted, lust has entered. And finally, the sixth one, we have, of course, 2 more verses we'll do next time. Limitations and doubts created by illusion, which is delusion, which is the Nagaphasa, which is doubt. And snake in every religion, culture, and spirituality is your lower nature, your doubt. And we have to, the only way to get over that is bringing Garuda. And all the many countries have this emblem of an eagle holding a snake, exactly the same message they're giving. Bird's eye view, and you look down, vigilant, fly high, not these lower emotions, lower frequency thoughts and energy. You have to fly high, swoop down when necessary, cut that, kill that snake. And you can do that with devotion to a higher cause. It need not just be a spiritual cause. It can be a cause of your company, cause of your family, cause of your country. You have to focus on a higher cause, and you have to invoke your knowledge. You cannot operate from a lack of ignorance, which is the first cause of suffering. That's it for today. And today's for the next week, the Ashta Siddhi that you will be practicing is called Prakamya. And there are several definitions for prakamya when I looked for it, willpower and sufficiency and all that. What I want to focus on is presentation. So this whole week, you will focus on prakamya, which will translate in your case to presentation. This world is maintained, the material world of prosperity and abundance. The architects given to us are Vishnu and Lakshmi. And think about it. Lakshmi is, the root word is Lakshya, goal. But the goal you cannot achieve unless Lakshmi is with Vishnu. She's pressing Vishnu's feet for a reason. For that goal, you have to vibrate at that frequency. So what that means is, suppose, let's say we are working on money to create financial abundance. You want to be abundant, but your thoughts are of poverty consciousness. I don't have this, I can't do this. That means your goal is here and you're vibrating here. How do you do it? You have to find a way, fake it to make it. So you have to find all the places where you can spend, can enjoy, can have safety, can have pleasure, and focus on that. That vibration, that lakshya has to be pressing what? Vishnu's feet. Otherwise, you cannot. And if it is, let's say, education, if you think you're not good enough or your work is not good enough, pretend for this week, just say, yes, I am good enough. Let me present pretending that I know it. Let me spend pretending that I have money. Let me buy clothes and wear clothes pretending I'm the shape and size that I want to be, instead of I will wait to lose this weight and then I will buy these clothes to wear. Don't do that. Go out and say, no, I'm looking beautiful in these clothes. I have the perfect body shape. It's very difficult. It's almost impossible, because the entrenched thoughts are very difficult. So prakamya is presentation. What is presentation? Merging your goal and vibrating at that goal, whatever may be the goal. If it is physical level, if it is a mental level, if it is my friends don't like me, nobody calls me, nobody hangs out with me, find the one person that you can hang out, call and say, hey, look, I have friends. You don't have to say I have one friend and others have 1,000 friends. Don't focus on that thoughts. Focus, I have friends, I have a good time. Hey, I have money, I can give out a $10 donation. Hey, I can get, buy clothes and look good. Tell yourself, I am looking gorgeous, I'm looking fine. So merge that gap between your goal and vibrating at that goal is prakamya. This is your presentation. Walk into your office with that confidence. Walk into a store with confidence. Walk into every place. Practice on your confidence. Prakamya. Show that I am capable of it. And I can do it. I am doing it. I will always be able to do it. I have the ability and the desire to do it.